Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. It is Julie here with your TipRanks pre-market morning update, where we're bringing you everything you need to know before the market opens. So let's get into it. Alright guys, welcome back and thank you all so much for being here. As usual, this morning we'll be taking a look at exciting stock market news, plenty of earnings reports to look at today, and we'll see which stocks are the morning's biggest gainers and losers. Don't forget to follow us over on TikTok under the username TipRanks, and head over to TipRanks TV to catch some great exclusive stock series as well. Now let's get right into this morning's exciting stock market news. U.S. stock futures are in the green this morning as it is Fed Day, where we're expecting an announcement from the Fed on a likely 0.75% interest rate hike this afternoon. Currently, Dow futures are up 0.4%, S&P 500 futures up 0.81%, and NASDAQ futures up 1.35%. According to a regulatory filing, Twitter has invited shareholders to vote on Elon Musk's $44 billion takeover proposal on September 13th. This is before a trial that is supposed to decide whether Twitter can force Musk to follow through on the offer. Twitter has sued Musk, who's tried to back out of the deal, citing not enough information on spam bot accounts. They're trying to hold him to his original offer and calling his attempt to terminate the deal invalid and wrongful. The court has agreed to let Twitter's lawsuit against Musk proceed on an expedited basis, setting a 5-day trial for October. Currently, the Twitter stock is rated a hold with a slight upside potential over 5%. Shares of Teva Pharmaceutical are on the rise this morning after the company said there may be resolution regarding opioid crisis lawsuits. For their alleged role in the opioid crisis, Teva said that they would pay up to $4.25 billion spread over 13 years. Their president and CEO said that they were pleased to have reached a nationwide agreement in principle pending participation by states and subdivisions to resolve the majority of their costly legacy opioids litigation and, importantly, make critical medicines available to those most impacted by the U.S. opioid epidemic. Analysts currently rate the Teva stock a hold with an average upside of 22%. As per a daily trading update, Cathie Wood's ARK Invest has offloaded 1.4 million shares of crypto platform Coinbase. The value of the offloaded shares would be over $75 million and comes following a big drop yesterday as Coinbase is taking on the SEC on a debate whether they trade cryptocurrencies as commodities or securities. Analysts currently rate the Coinbase stock a moderate buy with an average upside of 113%. Now moving right along to notable earnings reports as we have a bunch of those this morning. In the after hours today, we'll be hearing from big names like Meta Platforms, Ford Motors, Qualcomm, QuantumScape, Teladoc, and Etsy, to just name a few. In the pre-market this morning, we've heard from Spotify. Their active monthly users grew by 19%. The company reported 23% revenue growth and had premium subscribers grow 14% to 188 million, a net gain of 6 million. Their total revenue was 2.86 billion euro, which was up 23%, but they did report a net loss of 125 million for the period versus a net loss of 20 million in the year ago. Analysts currently rate their stock a moderate buy with an average upside of 37%. We've also heard from Shopify. Their stock is down following a surprise loss in their earnings report. This came on the heels of reports yesterday of a reduction in workforce that had the stock drop over 14%. While revenue did grow 15% year over year, revenue came in at 1.3 billion, shy of the 1.8 billion expected. They posted a surprise loss of 3 cents per share when analysts were expecting earnings of 3 cents per share. Moving forward, Shopify expects results to be pressured by inflation and serve as a transition year as inflation impacts consumers for the foreseeable future. Their stock is currently rated a moderate buy with an average upside of 123%, but we'll see how the newest ratings come in following this report. And we also heard from Kraft Heinz in the pre-market this morning. Their stock is down ever so slightly despite posting better than expected earnings and raising some of their full year outlook. They posted adjusted earnings of 70 cents per share, ahead of analyst estimates of 68 cents, and had net sales for their second quarter of $6.55 billion, beating the estimates of $6.39 billion. They're now expecting their 2022 organic net sales to be high single-digit percentage increases. Analysts currently rate the Kraft Heinz stock a hold with an average upside of 13%. And we also heard from Boeing. Their stock is on the rise in the pre-market despite posting a wider than expected loss based on an impressive free cash flow. Boeing reported a loss of 37 cents per share, well below the consensus estimate of a loss of 8 cents per share. That was on revenue of $16.7 billion, falling short of the estimates of $17.5 billion. But Boeing saw their operating cash flow improve to positive $81 million from negative $483 million, and free cash flow improved to negative $182 million from $705 million. Analysts currently rate the Boeing stock a strong buy with an average upside of 36%. Of course, there are some other names in the pre-market reporting, such as Waste Management, T-Mobile, and Bristol-Myers Squibb, but we have to move on or we could be here all morning. Now, there are some notable earnings reports from last night that we're going to take a quick look at. One of those being Microsoft. They did miss on earnings and revenue, but the stock is up based on positive future guidance. They reported earnings of $2.23 per share, below the estimates of $2.29. But for future guidance, they did call for $49.25 to $50.25 billion in fiscal first quarter revenue. The middle of the range would imply about 10% revenue growth. Analysts rate the stock with unanimous buy ratings and an upside of 33%. And we also heard from Google. Their stock is also up slightly despite missing on earnings and revenue. They reported revenue of $69.69 billion, shy of the estimates of $69.87 billion, and earnings per share of $1.21 versus the $1.27 expected. Their Google advertising revenue grew nearly 12% in the quarter, and their cloud revenue jumped 36% year over year to $6.28 billion. Analysts rate their stock a strong buy with an average upside of nearly 38%. Now let's take a look at which stocks are this morning's biggest gainers and losers. Our biggest gainers this morning are led by Teva Pharmaceuticals, following the news on their opioid crisis lawsuits. Under the ticker TEVA, the stock is up nearly 25%. They're followed by Western Midstream Partners under the ticker WES, up over 11%, and Enphase Energy under the ticker ENPH, up 9.4%. And our biggest losers this morning are led by the Sherwin-Williams Company, following their Q2 earnings results. Under the ticker SHW, the stock is down over 13%. They're followed by Tenable Holdings under TENB, down 8.88%, and Garmin under the ticker GRMN, down about 8.3%. So that is going to be everything for Wednesday's pre-market morning update, getting you up to speed with what you need to know before that opening bell. Make sure you say good morning in the comments down below, and have a fantastic day. I'll see you back here next time.